All right, so this is exercise 5. And what we've done here is we've added in the media tracker. Again, the purpose of the media tracker is to allow us to be sure that the item that the images that we're adding, the media that we're adding has loaded before they've all loaded up before we start trying to utilize them. It helps with the user experience. When you're running this, you're probably not going to see much of a difference because everything is stored locally. But when you introduce a network connection, which you will have with an applet because you're going out and talking to a server, you know how long it can take some websites to load. You know how long it can take to display items in a web page. You know how long Flash can take to load. Anything that is something other than text is going to add some delay to the page load time. And so sometimes we need to make sure that we have everything downloaded before we start manipulating it. And in this case, it's a pretty good idea when you're dealing with images and animation, particularly when you're animating or displaying a bunch of images in rapid succession, that you have them downloaded to the device first. Um, so what we've done is we've added the media tracker. We are we are setting the background white, adding our images to the array. We're calling the status message, which is a message in the bottom corner of the applet window or the applet portion that's embedded that's saying loading images. We're creating a new media tracker object and we're saying that the media tracker is going to be referencing this current class. This is the class that we care about. This is the class that is going to be loading the images. We then call tracker.addImage. What tracker.addImage does is adds a tag to that image so we know when it's complete. And we also have to add an ID because you can specify that you want multiple things loaded in a particular order or that you're interested in tracking different things separately. In this case, we need all of our images loaded, so I've tagged them all the same with the same sort of identifier. Once you've got all the images added, once you've got all the image objects added, you can call you have to put this in a try catch statement because the wait for ID method can throw an exception, and it's a checked exception, so we do have to deal with it. And the tracker.waitForID, what that does is make sure that that everything with that particular tag or that particular ID that we've provided, and 0 was just one that I picked, um, that everything that has been tagged with that 0 in the image tracker object is loaded. That we have it available to us. It's loaded in memory, and so this code right here will that method will not finish executing until every item that's been tagged with 0 has loaded. And you can use the media tracker. You can use the media tracker for sound files, for images, for video if you want. You're not limited to just image files. You can use it for all of it, and you can say, don't do anything until this loads. Once it loads, once we know that it's loaded, we're going to leave our initialize method, and then we'll deal with our paint method. And again, our paint method hasn't really changed. We're simply drawing the images on the screen in rapid succession. And if you take a look here, and even though you've made changes to your applet file, all you need to do is compile or build them, and then go over to your animation.htm and click run. And you'll see it didn't take very long. It says applet started now. It did say loading images for just a moment, but because you're running locally right off the hard disk, everything loads up pretty much instantaneously. When you add an internet connection, dial-up DSL, a slower connection, you're going to get more lag time. Even cable's going to have a lag um, compared to running it locally. Even if we restart it, you'll see it's immediate because the images are already loaded up in memory. Let's see if I can get it to reload. Even reloading doesn't really do it because the images are already in memory. So that's one way to do it. That's one way to do animation and even track those images. The next topic that we're going to talk about is the image icon class. And the image icon class, it pretty much works the same way. It's just a tad bit different. I mean, you don't need as much information. The image icon is care of the JApplet or the Swing library, which does make life a little bit easier, of course, because as we know, the Swing library does nothing but sort of simplifies a lot of stuff for us. And that's what we have with that. So you're going to read a little bit about the image icon class and some of the methods that you would want to use with it. And then you'll go on to exercise 6.